Good evening. So, we are doing the Bhagavad Gita and we are in the last chapter. Today we will be continuing from verse 64, and it may be possible that today's satsang may be the last because we have literally come to the end of this Bhagavad Gita. So, let us see how far we can go in this. I hope we will be able to continue at least for another day. So let us see. So today's satsang is all about the salutary advice which Shri Krishna has to give to Arjuna. Now this is an advice which is there literally for everyone, all of us. We have been listening to the Bhagavad Gita from the beginning, and we have had this opportunity of learning the different methods of reaching God. The three paths that were discussed, the Sankhya Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and lastly the Bhakti Marg. So we have learned literally everything over there. Now, being the close, because everything has to come to an end, so this chapter also is coming to an end, plus the teachings of Sri Krishna to Arjuna. So now let us see what he says as his advice. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 64. Here again, my supremely profound words, the most esoteric of all truths, as you are extremely dear to me. Therefore, I shall give you this salutary advice for your own good. So, Sri Krishna has explained how to reach the divine through the methods of Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, and the Bhakti Marg, in which he himself has endorsed that devotional path, the Bhakti Marg, is the highest path you can ever follow and reach Sri Krishna himself. Now the advice which he is giving is about his own self. Who is he? What is he? And what is the ultimate destination that we all have to actually think of going? Now those who follow this path, as laid down by Sri Krishna, wherein you will be passing through different stages, learning different things, keeping Sri Krishna in your mind, dedicating all your duties to him, meanwhile performing all your material worldly duties. You have been given a specific body for a purpose. That is your life's purpose. Now you may ask, why this body? Why not some other body? We always think of ourselves as very small and worthless compared to another person whom we believe is somebody really great. A business person, a billionaire, a great scientist, the rulers of a country, the kings, the queens, the prime ministers, and so on and so forth. We think that the army people, the people who are the astronauts, the ones who have gone in outer space, people who are doing some of the biggest tasks in the world, we think, why is it that I have got this insignificant body and those people have got something really nice? Let me give you an understanding. the body which you have got is a gift to you. And this gift has come to you through the great goddess Prakriti, which is Mother Nature, has given you this. You got to be thankful for that body. It is because of this body that you are able to perform certain functions, do duties, serve a purpose. Your question could be, why me? Why me? Why should I do this? I don't have good parents. I don't have good family. Why should I be involved in all this? The body owes its genetics and the data from your parents only. That means the parents are the people, those who have provided you with this flesh and blood. Got it? There is a rin. You owe them something. That is the reason why you have taken birth in that womb. Likewise, you have your own spouses, children, families. All this has come to you because you owe them something. It is a karmic debt which you are paying. Please remember this. The karmic debt has to be paid back to these people. You owe it to your forefathers also. If there were no forefathers, you would not be here today. And because of them, you have survived today, and you have to give them back something. And that is called the return of that karma. It's a prarabdha karma. You give it back. Now, that was one of the reasons why you have taken this body. The second reason is you owe it to the Lord because He has put you in that place. He has given you a specific activity to perform. Everybody has been given a specific activity and a job. That is your swadharma, the reason for your existence. If you ask me what is the reason for the existence of, say, Mahatma Gandhi, naturally a person will immediately say the release of India as an independent country. You can say those words. Why is it that there were kings and queens who were very oppressive? It is because they were supposed to be oppressive. That is their job. Why was Chanakya a very intelligent person? That was his swadharma, to guide the king. So you too have a swadharma which you have to perform. So this body has been given, and the swadharma has been given, the reason for your existence. And you owe it to someone. That is the karma that you got to pay. Meanwhile, if you use your mind and you do certain acts which are not natural, something which is not coming to you naturally, you use your mind and you keep on thinking and you keep on doing those actions, those convert into karma, a fresh karma, a new karma. It could be with the same person. You have come to repay, let us say, your parents. You're supposed to be their son or you're their daughter, and the repayment has to happen. But instead of repaying, which you will repay, of course, you keep on piling up more and more and more karma against them, against you. Now what happens? You have continued your life cycle. Now, after you die, you will have to meet them again. And then the karma has to be repaid. But again, if you don't repay, but you keep on continuing doing more and more and more, then you will be meeting these people over and over and over again. Not necessarily as a parent and a child. It could be like any other person. It could be an elephant, or it could be a tiger, or some other animal, a bird of prey. Could be anything. Not necessarily as a human. So why would you want to come back again? So isn't it important that you cut off that relationship with everybody? So we were taught about what is called as nishkam karma. So those who have heard my satsang yesterday and day before, you will remember I was talking about doing karmas without any repayment in the future lifetime. So if you use your mind, for your petty purposes, and if you keep on thinking, I'll show that person, I'll do this to him, or you keep on cursing another person, or you're doing supposedly good to that person, like giving them money and, keeping them well, so on and so forth, you're doing a karma. And when you're doing this karma, it has to be repaid. Remember, every karma needs to be repaid. And because you have used your mind and you keep on saying, I did it, that person did to me, say maybe your spouse beats you. He beat me. And poor me, I was taking all that. Well, you have taken it and he has given you. Both of you will keep on meeting over and over again. It is always better to do nishkam karma. Don't use your mind. So, Krishna has given you this advice in the past. So today, Krishna is saying, see, I have given you my profound words. These are words of wisdom. This is the most esoteric truth. This is an absolute truth which you have been told. And because you are so dear to me, that is why I have given you this advice for your own good. This advice has not come just like that. This advice has come to you because you have to get it. If you don't understand what I said, then this is just waste of time for you and me. So listen to the words which I have given you in the last 18 chapters, nearly 600 odd verses. Now there are some left. We will total 700 in all. So we have been given that advice. So listen to it and follow it to the T. This salutary advice is important. You follow it, please. Then what happens? Let us see. So we go to the next verse. So, we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 65. Give your mind to me. Be devoted to me. Worship me and bow to me. Doing so, you will come to me alone. I truly promise you, for you are exceptionally dear to me. Just a few moments ago, I told you, you use your mind for your petty purposes. Don't keep on wasting your time, energy, and your mind space for something which is insignificant. Let us say you have to give money to your parents. Give them. Don't bother about it. What you have to do, just do it. And don't get into what is called as mental gymnastics about it. Let us say you have a younger brother or you have an older sibling and you are paying a certain amount, that person is paying a certain amount, and keep on thinking, oh, he is paying less, she is doing this, and he is doing like that, my parents are like this, they are not satisfied with it. No, don't get into any kind of mental gymnastics with anybody. You owe them certain duties, give that thing to them. Period. Don't get involved in mental, whatever that you are going to do. Thinking about them constantly or about any other person. That thinking which you do about that person is putting you back into the loop with the same person. Let us say, for example, you have a very big argument with your wife. Okay? Nowadays, it's a very big thing, isn't it? With the Bill Gates thing happening. And let us say you're going for a divorce. Do you know in that a lot of dirt is going to come out in the open? Oh, he was like this, she is like this, he spends like this, she does like this. Keep on talking, talking, talking. And the court and the lawyers and you name it, all the people are involved. And you are always thinking, I don't want to give this person this money, or I don't want to give the property to them. And the other person is thinking, I wish this person dies. The kind of thoughts that keep on coming. Every thought that you generate, you think that you have finished with this person when you get your divorce papers. Sorry, sir, you have signed a multi-lifetime agreement with them. The more you think about them, the more you are talking to them, the more you are getting involved in action and words and your mind space. Your next lifetime and the next and the next and the next. You keep on multiplying it. You are going to meet the same idiot again. You didn't want to meet that person, but now you are forced to meet because of your mind. You keep on thinking about that person, isn't it? In the same way, if you have a sibling with whom you don't agree with, or your parents, or your spouses, or your children, or the society, your friends, relatives, your bosses, or whosoever, and you get into mental gymnastics with them, your mind keeps on attaching to what they say. Oh, this person said like this to me, that person did like that to me. You keep on doing this. And you keep on thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about them. You have got into a karmic debt with them. You have to meet them over and over and over again. The same boss whom you hate from the bottom of your heart, you will meet. The same parents whom you really feel they are not even done anything for you, you will 100% meet them in every lifetime of yours. And they are going to give it back exactly the way what you have done. There is always a repayment factor, no? That repayment happens. And that is the reason why this verse is important. Give your mind to me. Do your duties in the world, but do not do any kind of mental, gymnastics. Or I should use any other word. Don't do dance with your mind, attaching your mind to these kind of people and things or some property of yours. Oh, somebody is taking away my property, somebody has taken away my money, the money part of it. So, that mind of yours, surrender it to me. Krishna has given you the option. Please give your mind to me. Don't even think of anything. Just stop your thinking process. I know it is very difficult for human beings to not think. That is why he said something. Give your mind to me. Be devoted to me. Remember, I have given you this life. I have given you these parents, your house, your property, your spouse, your children. It is my property, Krishna's property, not yours. So don't take ownership of anything. Don't take ownership of your children saying that they are my children. Don't take ownership of your parents that they are my parents. No, they're Krishna's children. Got it? The moment you think the whole world is the Lord's children, then why are you bothered? You are just one more, isn't it? So this relationship of father, mother, brother, sister, husband, wife, children, this, that, all this is utter nonsense. So give your mind to me, be devoted to me, worship me. When you worship me, always worship me with beautiful prayers. Always keep singing beautiful songs, write songs, sing songs, hear songs, which are devotional, which are only connected to me. So, there are lots of bhajans, kirtans, beautiful poems which you can read, hear, sing, songs which you can sing. And when you are doing this, do not use your mind for any other purposes. Don't keep on thinking, singing songs, Jai Jagdish Hare on this side, and thinking, oh my God, I had to pay money to that Jagdish fellow who was supposed to come yesterday. No, don't do that. That Jagdish is there. Okay, Krishna, you have to only bow down to him, sing his songs, completely be lost in him, and give that stupid mind of yours at his feet. Just put it at his feet. Say, I don't want to think, I just want to be a tool in your hands. Do what you want with my body and your mind and the mind that I have. This mind is silly and stupid. So when you do this, doing so, you will come to me. You will come to me. I truly promise you. It's Krishna's promise. Krishna never breaks his promise. So if you are completely devoted to Krishna, you have surrendered everything to him, your mind. The most important is the mind. You sing songs for him. You dance for him. You write poems for him. You can say hymns. Anything. You can write stories about him. Doesn't matter. Whatever that you do it only for him. And when you do that, he tells you, he promises you that you will come to me only because you are exceptionally dear to me. These are the words which he had told Arjuna. You are the Arjuna in this world. Listen to these words and come to Krishna. Don't bother about anything. Just surrender to him completely. With your mind, body, senses, and everything that you think is yours. Just give it to him. Surrender. You don't have to get into any karma with anybody. Don't bother why other person does something and you are not allowed to do anything. See, the world can say what they want to. They are allowed because they are ignorant. But you have learned the Bhagavad Gita. You should never utter one single bad word or say anything bad about anybody. You are not supposed to. When you have completely surrendered your mind at the feet of Krishna, what kind of words will come from your mouth? Nothing, isn't it? And that is the reason why he says. So, when you do this, you will come to me. And I promise you, Krishna is promising this to everyone. I promise you. The reason is because you are exceptionally dear to me. So now we do the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 66. Resigning all your duties to me, the all-powerful and all-supporting Lord, take refuge in me alone. I shall absolve you of all sins. Do not worry. Resigning all your duties to me doesn't mean that you give up your duties. Otherwise, you will say, oh, resigning the duty, okay, I will resign and go. No, that means I am the boss of everything. You are doing duties for me, not for some parents of yours, not for some spouses of yours, not for your children, not for this world, your bosses, or anybody. You're actually doing it for Krishna Himself. Think like that. You are serving my purpose. When I started this satsang, did I not tell you this body has been given for a purpose? The ultimate purpose is to serve. The reason for your existence. Why are you here? Krishna has given you this life, this particular body for a purpose. Use it for that purpose. So resign everything, all your duties to me. In case if you have become a sannyasi, in case you take up sannyasa, or you completely have samarpand, completely have submitted to the will of Krishna, then you don't have to do anything in this world. You are not going to do anything in this world. At that time, all your duties will be Krishna's duties. But that 100% surrender is necessary. Can you compare yourself to Mirabai or Tukaram? They had surrendered. So then there was no duties for them. Mirabai was not supposed to become the queen. So she had given up that job of a queen, serving her husband. She had given up that job. Did you get it? She was not worried about what is happening in her country. No, she was not bothered about what she was eating and drinking and how she was wearing her clothes or where she was walking on the road without footwear or what she was doing. There was nothing which was her own because she had surrendered completely to Krishna. Can you do that kind of a surrender where you have nothing else to do except be the slave of Krishna? That is the thing. If you resign all your duties to me, I am the all-powerful and the supporting Lord. I am the one who is all-powerful. There is nobody greater than me. There is no God or any other thing greater than me. This is a gospel truth. In the Bhagavad Gita, these words have powerful meanings. So he says, I am the all-powerful and all-supporting God, the big Lord upstairs. I run this entire universe. So take refuge in me alone. I shall absolve you of all sins. Do not worry. Here, Sri Krishna says, when you take refuge in me, that means you have completely surrendered and you have become literally a renunciate. You have renounced this world and you have come to me. Then I will see to it that you will never incur any sin whatsoever. But do you believe that you can be greater than Mirabai or Tukaram or any of those great devotees? They were not bothered about what happened to their wives or children. Tukaram was never bothered about what happened to his wife or his children or the cow that he had at home. Never. He would get up in the morning and he would go to the mountain and he would sit over there in dhyan and write poetry. Abhangas they are called. And later on he would go from village to village, town to town, giving different stories, saying bhajans and kirtans and all kinds of things he was doing. Only for Vithala, Krishna himself. Do you think you can do that? Can you surrender like him? Can you surrender like Mirabai? Then, There will be no sin whatsoever. Whether you are bothered about your parents, your relatives, your friends, your spouses, your children, whether you have a house or no house, nothing. That is not your business. That is Krishna's business. Krishna says, I will take care of all these things. And you will be absolved of all sins. That means not a single karma will come to you. See, not a single karma will come to you. So now we go to the next one. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 67. This secret gospel of the Gita should never be imparted to a man who lacks in austerity, nor to him who is wanting in devotion, nor even to him who is not willing to hear, and in no case to him who finds fault with me. This Gita, this Bhagavad Gita is the highest epitome of any book, any scripture written by anybody. It is Shri Krishna's original words. Remember that. He is giving us a very clear warning over here. He says, this knowledge should never be imparted to any man who lacks austerity. Somebody who is not even austere, somebody who is not even a devotee, somebody who doesn't even give a damn. The person has got wild ideas of his own. He says, no, I don't care about Krishna in this world. I care about only some Mataji, Pitaji, somebody like that. No, this knowledge should not be given to that person. The reason is because that person is not the right kind of a person who should be given the knowledge. This is a secret teachings. So, also to one who is wanting in devotion, somebody who is not a devotee of Krishna should never be given this knowledge. See, people come up with all kinds of things, they will say, no, Krishna, oh, he is some ordinary fellow. I will believe in Shiva, I will believe in this one, I will believe in that God, and I owe my, this thing to some other God. Why don't you understand? Here Krishna is explaining that he is the highest, all-powerful and all-supporting Lord. Can there be any other God greater than him? Nobody. He is the one who runs the second divine unmanifest. Everything dissolves in the first divine unmanifest. So he being the highest. So he says, if you lack austerity or if you lack devotion to me, somebody who lacks devotion to me, please never impart this knowledge to that person. Let him wallow in whatever that he wants to. Somebody who is wanting in devotion, nor even to him who is not willing to hear. Somebody who doesn't even say, oh, I'll listen to it tomorrow. And the person never even opens the Bhagavad Gita, never even listens. Many a times some of my disciples will give this update to somebody and say, you listen to this, no? Guruji has given satsang on this subject, listen to it. That person doesn't even open. Yeah, very nice. Okay, thank you very much. This knowledge is not for LinkedIn and all the material worldly people. No way. Because they don't understand. Do you think, I want you to think very carefully. If your father was Warren Buffett, do you think he is going to give the knowledge about how to mint billions to somebody else? Only to you. Correct? Why will he want to give the knowledge to somebody who doesn't even give a damn? So only those who are dear to Krishna, this knowledge can be given. Some ordinary people who keep on believing in all the crap in the world, for them this knowledge is not correct. So never impart this knowledge to them. And especially to the last one, somebody who finds fault with me. Anybody who finds fault with Krishna, this knowledge should never be given. Do not even say that, I want to tell you something about Bhagavad Gita, Why? Why bother your head about teaching some idiot? Somebody who doesn't even give a damn to Krishna, keeps on saying bad things about him. Don't bother. There is no need. Why would you want to involve yourself in giving that knowledge to a person who doesn't even care for Krishna and says, yeah, I don't give a damn to him. He's nobody, you know. My God is greater than your God. You know, there are these people in this world who say these words. Please don't give this knowledge to that person. Bhagavad Gita is the highest knowledge anybody can get. It's the spiritual knowledge for reaching the highest, the ultimate destination and goal, which is called enlightenment, getting lost in the divine and going even beyond to the Father in heaven, who is Krishna himself. If there are people who will keep on saying, no, I don't believe in your religion, your this thing and your that, don't even bother trying to teach that person. See, this is the only religion in the world, Hinduism is the only religion in the world which doesn't force another person to learn or to follow their path. Nobody should force another person to follow their path. If other people are doing it, if some other religious person or some other people are there, they keep on forcing people to join their, please go ahead and let them join. Why are you bothered? In our religion, we have tolerance. We do not bother what other people think. So never force another person. That is why Krishna says, if there are some other people, we should never forcibly convert anybody or try to force them, put it down their gullet that Gita is the highest, Gita is the highest, Shri Krishna is highest. Don't bother saying that. Krishna himself has said these words over here, and in no case to him who finds fault with me. Never impart this lesson to anybody else. So we go to the next verse now. We're doing chapter 18, verse 68. He who offering the highest love to me preaches the most profound gospel of Gita amongst my devotees shall come to me alone. There is no doubt about it. Now let us say, you are the devotee of Krishna. And you know this gospel very nicely. That means you know the Bhagavad Gita beautifully. Your Guru has imparted it to you and you are a perfect specimen for giving the knowledge, passing it on to further to other people who are also devotees of Krishna. Then you can please pass on this knowledge to them. He who offering the highest love to me, you have to offer the highest of the love to me, to Krishna. If you preach this most profound gospel of the Gita amongst my devotees, not to any other devotees, not to some other devotee who believes in some other God, and not to some other religious person of some other religion or sect or whatever. Don't bother. No, only to my devotees, Krishna's devotees and nobody else. When you teach this to Krishna's devotees, you will come to me. There is no doubt about it. And don't even doubt, because you will come to me. This is a profound truth. Now there are youngsters over here. Their parents may be devotees of Krishna, but they really have no understanding how to reach him. But they are true devotees of Krishna. Show them the path. Teach them this gospel if you can. And bring them towards Krishna. That, if you do this, you would have attained the highest benefit in your life. Because you will come straight away to Krishna yourself. After you die, your body is finished, then you will go straight to Krishna's heaven. And please do not doubt this statement. We go to the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 69. Amongst men there is none who does me a more loving service than he, nor shall anyone be dearer to me in the entire world than he. So if you do this, If you have a wife or a husband or children who are devotees of Krishna, introduce them more towards these bhajans, kirtans, songs of Krishna, tell them the stories and introduce them to this Bhagavad Gita. Teach them that one by one, little by little, so that they become totally in love with Krishna. And if you do this, then if you do this kind of a loving service, there can be nobody greater than you and one who is dearer to Krishna. So did you get it? You are the dearest ones to Krishna then. We go to the next verse now. We are doing chapter 18, Bhagavad Gita, verse 70. Whosoever studies the secret dialogue of ours in the form of Gita, by him too shall I be worshipped with yajna of knowledge, such is my conviction. If you study this Bhagavad Gita, these sacred dialogues which have been transmitted from Shri Krishna to Arjuna, those who read them, those who listen to them, those who practice them on a day-to-day basis, for them, they too shall see, for by him too shall I be worshipped with yajna of knowledge. That individual will get the yajna of knowledge. Knowledge will come to him. This is Krishna's conviction. So those who read the Bhagavad Gita, those who practice it, those who follow it, they also will get the benefit of this Bhagavad Gita. We go to the next verse now. Chapter 18, Bhagavad Gita, verse 71. The man who listens to the Holy Gita with reverence, being free from malice, he too liberated from sin, shall reach the propitious world of the virtuous. Now those who are listening to this Bhagavad Gita, the exposition which I have given, or those who are listening to Jnaneshwari or any other scripture which is expounding on the Bhagavad Gita, the truth about Shri Krishna and Arjuna, that person who is listening to this Gita, that person who is having reverence and has no malice, is not sitting over there, I will show Krishna, what does he think of him? No, absolutely no malice should be there. To the one who is giving the Gita or to the one who is listening. You should never have malice to anybody. The malice word itself should not be there in your life. Don't have malice for anybody in this world. Because if you have malice towards someone or something, then that is going to go against you. So don't have malice towards anybody. Then you will be liberated from sin, no karma will accrue to you, and you will reach the propitious world of the virtuous. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 72. Have you, O Arjuna, heard the gospel of Gita attentively? And has your delusion born of ignorance been destroyed, O Dhananjaya, conqueror of riches? Krishna is asking Arjuna. He says, after listening to this entire Bhagavad Gita, has that delusion, that infatuation which you had, I will not do this, I will not do this, I will not fight this war, I am killing my younger brothers or elder brothers and this and that and all those nonsense that you kept on saying, all that is gone, right? So he's asking, after listening to this gospel, this is a gospel of Gita, attentively, has this delusion gone from you? That you are not supposed to do this or that? You have to do all your duties. You are serving only Krishna's purpose. You are not doing it for yourself. You are not doing it for somebody else. You are only doing it for the Divine Lord. If you have understood this lesson, then you go ahead and do. And has this delusion gone from you? So, we are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 73. Arjuna said, Krishna, by your grace my delusion has been destroyed and I have gained wisdom. I am free from all doubts. I will do your bidding. So Arjuna is then saying this to Krishna. He says, yes, I have understood every word of what you have said. You have been kind enough to show me your beautiful forms. And I am thankful to you for giving me this wonderful opportunity and knowledge. So I have gained this wisdom and I am free from all doubt. There should not be a single doubt in the mind of any human being. I will do your bidding. We do the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. We are doing verse 74, 75, 76. Sanjaya said, "Thus I heard the mysterious and the thrilling conversation between Sri Krishna and the high-souled Arjuna, son of Kunti. Having been blessed with the divine vision by the grace of Sri Vyas, I heard in person the supremely esoteric gospel from the Lord of Yoga, Sri Krishna himself, imparting it to Arjuna." I will do 2 verses only. So here, Sanjaya was telling this entire story, a commentary to Dhritarashtra. If you remember the beginning, Dhritarashtra said, that was the beginning of this whole thing. And Sanjaya was telling him what was happening over there. And all this knowledge has come because of Vyasdev. Vyasdev has written these beautiful scriptures. Vyasdev was a person who completely told us what Sri Krishna has said. So the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Mahabharata as well as even Bhagavatam, because Krishna's stories are there in both these. So combined together, both these scriptures, these are holy scriptures. When you combine both these scriptures, Gita, the Bhagavad Gita is the highest knowledge which has been imparted to Arjuna. And that Arjuna is none other than you. On your day-to-day basis, you have learned how to lead your life. The decisions that you make in your corporate world, in your emotional, whatever that you're going through, in your physical life, in your spiritual life, everywhere you can apply this knowledge. So since you have heard this gospel, which Vyasdev has given, and which was given by Sri Krishna himself, so it is an authentic original gospel called Bhagavad Gita. So we do the next verse, next 2 verses also. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 76, remembering over and over that sacred and the mystic conversation between Bhagwan Sri Krishna and Arjuna. O king, I am in ecstasy again and yet again. Verse 77, remembering also again and again the most wonderful form of Sri Krishna. Great is my wonder, and I experience the bliss of ecstasy over and over again. So Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, I was listening to the words of Sri Krishna, remembering them over and over again. This has made me completely holy. My entire being is lit with it. I feel totally released from all these material worldly tensions that I have. After listening to Krishna's word, I am in ecstasy. And then he says, I have been fortunate enough even to see the form of Sri Krishna. Remember, Sanjaya is the one who saw the form also. That is why he was able to convey it to Dhritarashtra. And that is what he says, I was totally taken in by Krishna's form. Those who have seen the form of Sri Krishna, they have become totally holy. So imagine what happens to Sanjaya. What happens to all those people who can see the form of Sri Krishna in their meditative state? For them, it is literally like reaching the highest pinnacle of success and the highest of the worlds. So, we go to the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita. We are doing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 78. Wherever is Bhagwan Sri Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, and wherever is Arjuna, the wielder of the Gandiva bow, glory, victory, prosperity, and unfailing righteousness will surely be there. Such is my conviction. So here Sri Krishna is giving us these very beautiful teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. We have been fortunate enough to listen to it. Likewise, Arjuna has been able to listen to it from his mouth. And here I have given you the exposition. So, wherever there is Sri Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, when these two meet, what happens? Glory, victory, prosperity, and unfailing righteousness will surely be there. Such is my conviction. So, this is the conviction which Sanjaya is saying. I have this conviction that this is the way in which Bhagavad Gita is to be imparted, and it has got imparted so far. So, we have come to the last verse. Thus, in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scriptures of Yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna ends the 18th chapter entitled The Yoga of Liberation through the Path of Knowledge and Surrender. Hari Om Tat Sat. So, we have come to the end of the Bhagavad Gita today. It has been really a great pleasure giving you all this satsang. I have done this multiple times, but this time it was the first time that I have been able to get it from the beginning to the end completed. So we have come to the end of it. So before you go, I just want to say a few words and then you can leave. So I have been doing most of these scriptures in the last so many years. And like I had said to you all that I wouldn't want to continue doing this kind of a satsangs. But what I would be basically looking for is complete interaction with everybody, personally meeting whenever it is possible, seeing y'all face to face whenever it is possible, meeting y'all, giving y'all a one-off satsang whenever there is time. And these kind of satsang should continue because that will keep your religious fervor and your path will be cleaned. Your heart will become pure. So I will leave you all with a question that I have completed this Bhagavad Gita. Now, you can write to me on my page or you can send me a message. What is it that you would want me to do? If I can get some good, opinions or whatever, I will look at it and I will do what you think is, required. But I will be starting a new series that is not a face-to-face kind. It will be mostly a podcast and it will be short, offline. There will be no live as such. So the podcast will be broadcast on a very regular basis. And I think we will do that. But if you have any other thing in mind, please let me know. And that is what I wanted to say. I want to thank all of you all from the bottom of my heart for being such wonderful beings who have been listening to this Bhagavad Gita. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you all when I see you all. Bye.